This week's portion is Naso, found in Numbers 4. Starting in verse 21, we go through 7, verse 89. We're going to do this, as is our custom, in 7 aliyot. And our first aliyah, Ya'amod Bab Lane ben Abraham Avinu Lekro Torah.
Number 421. There you go. Okay. Shabbat shalom, everybody. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Also take a census of the sons of Gershon by their father's house, by their families, from 30 years old and above them, even to 50 years old. You shall number them. All who enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of meeting." This is the service of the families of the Gershonites in serving and carrying. They shall carry the curtains of the tabernacle and the tabernacle of meeting with its coverings, the covering of badger skins that is on the screen for the door of the tabernacle of meeting, the screen door of the gate of the courts, the hangings of the court which are around the tabernacle and the altar, and their cords and all the furnishings for their service, and all that are made of these for these things, so shall they serve. Aaron and his sons shall assign the service of the sons of the Gershonites, all their tasks and all their service. And you shall appoint them to their all their tasks as their duty. This is the service of the families of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of meeting, and their duties shall be under the authority of Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. For as the sons of Merari, you shall number them by the families and by their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. You shall number them. Everyone who enters the service to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. And this is what they must carry in all their service for the tabernacle of meeting: the boards of the tabernacle, its bars, its pillars, its sockets, and the pillars around the court with their sockets, pegs, and cords, and all their furnishings, and all their service. And you shall assign to each man by his name the items he must carry. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari, as their service for the tabernacle of meeting, under the authority of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the high priest. And Moses, Aaron, and the leaders of the congregation numbered the sons of the Kohathites, I think, by their families and by their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old. Everyone who entered the service for work in the tabernacle of meeting. And those families who were numbered by their families were 2,750. These were the ones who were numbered of the families of the Kohathites, I think, I'm not sure, by all who serve the tabernacle of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses.
Our second aliyah, Ya'amod Chris Lemon ben Abraham Avinu Lekro Torah.
And those who were numbered of the sons of Gershon by their families and their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, everyone who entered the service for work in the tabernacle of meeting. Those who were numbered by their families, by their father's house, were 2,630. These are the ones who were numbered of the families of the sons of Gershon, of all who might serve in the tabernacle of meeting, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the commandment of the Lord. Those of the families of the sons of Merari, who were numbered by their families, by their father's house, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, everyone who entered the service for work in the tabernacle of meeting, those who were numbered by their families were 3,200. These are the ones who were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari, whose Moses and Aaron numbered according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Moses. All who were numbered of the Levites, whom Moses, Aaron, and the leaders of Israel numbered by their families and by their fathers' houses, from 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, everyone who came to do the work of service and work of bearing burdens in the tabernacle of meeting, those who were numbered were 8,580. According to the commandment of the Lord, they were numbered by the hand of Moses, each according to his service and according to his task. Thus were they numbered by him, as the Lord commanded Moses.
Thank you, sir. Our third aliyah, Ya'amod Duncan Humble, Ben Abraham Avinu L'Kro Batorah.
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they put out of the camp every leper, everyone who has a discharge, and whoever becomes defiled by a corpse. You shall put out both male and female, shall put them outside the camp, that they may not defile their camps in the midst of which I dwell. And the children of Israel did so, and put them outside the camp, as the Lord spoke to Moses, so the children of Israel did. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, when a man or woman commits any sin that men commit in unfaithfulness against the Lord, that person is guilty, then he shall confess the sin which he has committed. He shall make restitution for his trespass in full, plus 1/5 of it, and give it to the one he has wronged. But if the man has no relative to whom restitution may be made for the wrong, the restitution for the wrong must go to the Lord for the priest, in addition to the ram of the atonement with which atonement is made for him. Every offering of all the holy things of the children of Israel, which they bring to the priest, shall be his. And every man's holy things shall be his. Whatever any man gives the priest shall be his.
Our fourth aliyah, Ya'amod Randall Epperson, Ben Abraham Avinu L'Kro Batorah.
And Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, If any man's wife goes astray, and behaves unfaithfully toward him, and a man lies with her carnally, and it is hidden from the eyes of her husband, and it is concealed that she has defiled herself, and there was no witness against her, nor was she caught. If the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he becomes jealous of his wife who has defiled herself, or if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he becomes jealous of his wife, although she has not defiled herself, then the man shall bring his wife to the priest. He shall bring the offering required for her, 1/10 of an ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil on it and put no frankincense on it, because it is a grain offering of jealousy, an offering for remembrance, for bringing iniquity to remembrance. And the priest shall bring her near and set her before Adonai. The priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and take some of the dust that is on the floor of the tabernacle, and put it into the water. Then the priest shall stand the woman before Adonai, uncover the woman's head, and put the offering for remembering in her hands, which is the grain offering of jealousy. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that brings a curse. And the priest shall put her under oath, and say to the woman, If no man has lain with you, and if you have not gone astray to uncleanness while under your husband's authority, be free from this bitter water that brings a curse. But if you have gone astray while under your husband's authority, and you have defiled yourself, and some other man other than your husband has lain with you, then the priest shall put the woman under the oath of the curse, and he shall say to the woman, Adonai, make you a curse and an oath among your people. When Adonai makes your thigh rot and your belly swell, and may this water that causes the curse go into your stomach and make your belly swell and your thigh rot. Then the woman shall say, Amen, so be it. Then the priest shall write these curses in a book, and he shall scrape them off into the bitter water. And he shall make the woman drink the bitter water that brings a curse, and the water that brings the curse shall enter her to become bitter. Then the priest shall take the grain offering of jealousy from the woman's hand, shall wave the offering before Adonai, and bring it to the altar. And the priest shall take a handful of the offering as a memorial portion, burn it on the altar, and afterward make the woman drink the water. When he has made her drink the water, then it shall be, if she has defiled herself and behaved unfaithfully toward her husband, that the water that brings the curse will enter her and become bitter, and her belly will swell, her thigh will rot, and the woman will become a curse among her people. But if the woman has not defiled herself and is clean, then she shall be free and may conceive children. This is the law of jealousy, when a wife, while under her husband's authority, goes astray and defiles herself. Or when the spirit of jealousy comes upon a man, and he becomes jealous of his wife, then he shall stand the woman before the Lord, and the priest shall execute all this law upon her. Yeah, it keeps going. Then the man shall be free from iniquity, but that woman shall bear her guilt. Then Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when either a man or a woman consecrates an offering to take the vow of a Nazirite, or to separate himself to Adonai, he shall separate himself from wine and similar drink. He shall drink neither vinegar made from wine nor vinegar made from similar drink. Neither shall he drink any grape juice, nor eat fresh grapes or raisins. All the days of his separation he shall eat nothing that is produced by the grapevine, from seed to skin. All the days of the vow of his separation no razor shall come upon his head, until the days are fulfilled for which he separated himself to Adonai. He shall be holy. Then he shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. As all the days that he separates himself to Adonai, he shall not go near a dead body. He shall not make himself unclean, even for his father or his mother, for his brother or his sister, when they die, because the separation to God is on his head. All the days of his separation shall be holy to Adonai. And if anyone dies very suddenly beside him, and he defiles his consecrated head, then he shall shave his head on the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day he shall shave it. Then on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons to the priest, to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And the priest shall offer one as a sin offering, and the other as a burnt offering, and make atonement for him, because he sinned in all regard to the corpse, and he shall sanctify his head that same day. He shall consecrate to Adonai the days of his separation, and bring a male lamb in his first year as a trespass offering. But the former days shall be lost, because his separation was defiled. Now this is the law of the Nazirite. When the days of his separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And he shall present his offering to Adonai, 1 male lamb in its first year without blemish as a burnt offering, 1 ewe lamb in its first year without blemish as a sin offering, 1 ram without blemish as a peace offering, a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, unleavened wafers anointed with oil, and the grain offering with their drink offerings. Then the priest shall bring them before Adonai, and offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. And he shall offer the ram as a sacrifice of a peace offering unto Adonai, with the basket of unleavened bread. The priest shall also offer its grain offering and its drink offering. When the Nazirite shall shave his consecrated head at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and shall take the hair from his consecrated head and put it on the fire which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering. And the priest shall take the boiled shoulder of the ram, one unleavened cake from the basket, one unleavened wafer, and put them upon the hands of the Nazirite after he has shaved his consecrated hair. And the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before Adonai. They are holy to the priest, together with the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the heave offering. After that, the Nazirite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazirite, who vows to Adonai the offering for his separation, and besides that, whatever else his hand is able to provide, according to the vow which he takes. So must he do according to the law of his separation. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the way you shall bless the children of Israel. Say to them, Adonai bless you and keep you. Adonai make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Adonai lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
That one was a lot longer than I thought it was. And Aliyah number 5, Ya'amod Jeremy Sarayan ben Abraham Avinu Lekro Batorah. Can't talk today.
Now it came to pass, when Moses had finished setting up the tabernacle, that he anointed it and consecrated it in all its furnishings, and the altar and all its utensils. So he anointed them and consecrated them. Then the leaders of Israel, the heads of their fathers' houses, who were the leaders of the tribes, and over those who were numbered, made an offering, and they brought their offering before the Lord, 6 covered carts and 12 oxen, a cart for every 2 of the leaders, and for each one an ox, and they presented them before the tabernacle. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Accept these from them, that they may be used in doing the work of the tabernacle of meeting, and you shall give them to the Levites, to every man according to his service. So Moses took the carts and the oxen and gave them to the Levites. 2 carts and 4 oxen he gave to the sons of Gershon, according to their service. And 4 carts and 8 oxen he gave to the sons of Merari, according to their service, under the authority of Ithamar the son of Aaron the priest. But to the sons of Kohath he gave none, because theirs was the service of the holy things which they carried on their shoulders. Now the leaders offered the dedication offering for the altar when it was anointed, so the leaders offered their offering before the altar. For the Lord said to Moses, They shall offer their offering 1 leader each day for the dedication of the altar. And the one who offered his offering on the first day was Nahshon, the son of Amminadab, from the tribe of Judah. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 pan of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And for the sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Nahshon, the son of Amminadab. On the second day, Nethanel, the son of Zuar, leader of Issachar, presented an offering. For his offering he offered 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 pan of 10 shekels, 1 gold pan of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, and as the sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Nethanel, the son of Zuar. On the third day, Eliab, the son of Helon, leader of the children of Zebulun, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver plate, the weight of which was 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And for the sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Eliab, the son of Helon. On the fourth day, Elazar, the son of Shadur, leader of the children of Reuben, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering, 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as a sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Elizur, the son of Shedeur. On the 5th day, Shelumiel, the son of Zerushadai, leader of the children of Simeon, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels, full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. The kid of the goats is a sin one kid of the goats is a sin offering. And as the sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Shelumiel, the son of Zerushadai.
Aliyah number 6. Ya'amo Tony de Bease ben Avraham Avinu Lekro Batorah.
On the 6th day, Eliaphasa, the son of Duel, leader of the children of Gad, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels, full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb in the first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Eliphah, the son of Duel. On the 7th day, Elishama, the son of Amnihud, leader of the children of Ephraim, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels, full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in the first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Elishama, the son of Amihud. On the 8th day, Gamaliel, the son of Pedashazur, leader of the children of Manasseh, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels, full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Gamaliel, the son of Pedashazur. On the 9th day, Abiadan, the son of Gideon, leader of the children of Benjamin, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels, full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in the first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Abidan, the son of Gideoni. On the 10th day, Ahizar, the son of Amidishadai, leader of the children of Dan, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb in the first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering, and as a sacrifice of peace. 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Azar, the son of Amilshadai. On the 11th day, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Give you a break. Our 7th reader, 7th aliyah, is Ya'amod George Petty, Ben Avraham Avinu, L'Kro B'Torah.
I'd like to thank everyone for your support on the passing of my wife, Betty, and I certainly appreciate all you've done for me. On the 11th day of Pegel, the son of Okran, leader of the children of Asher, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekels of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 golden pan of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as a sacrifice of peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Pegel, the son of Okran. On the 12th day of Ahara, the son of Ean, the leader of the children of Naphtali, presented an offering. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, and 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb in its first year as a burnt offering. 1 kid of the goats as a sin offering. And as the sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Ahara, the son of Ean. This was the dedication offering for the altar from the leaders of Israel, when it was anointed. 12 silver platters, 12 silver bowls, and 12 gold pans. Each silver platter weighed 130 shekels, and each bowl 70 shekels. All the silver of the vessels weighed 2,400 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. The 2 gold pans full of incense weighed 10 shekels apiece, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. All the gold of the pans weighed 120 shekels. All the oxen for burnt offerings were 12 young bulls, the ram 12, and male lambs in their first year 12, with their grain offering, and the kid of the goats as a sin offering 12. And all the oxen from the sacrifice of peace offerings were 24 bulls, the rams 60, the male goats 60, and the lambs in their first year 60. This was the dedication offering for the altar after it was anointed. Now when Moses went into the tabernacle of the meeting to speak with him, he heard the voice of one speaking to him from above the mercy seat that was on the ark of the testimony, between the 2 cherubim. Thus he spoke to him.
And the reading of the Maftir, Ya'amod, John McLean, Ben Avraham Avinu, L'Kro B'Torah.
All the oxen for the burnt offering were 12 young bulls, the rams 12, the male lambs in their first year 12, with their grain offerings, and the kids of the goat as a sin offering 12. And all the oxen for the sacrifice of peace offering were 24 bulls, the rams 60, the male goats 60, and the lambs in their first year 60. This was the dedication offering for the altar after it was anointed. Now when Moses went into the tabernacle of meeting to speak with him, he heard the voice of one speaking to him from above the mercy seat that was on the ark of the testimony, from between the two cherubim. Thus he spoke to him.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nevi'im tovim, v'ratzah b'devrahim, haneh emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah, uv'Moshe avdo, uv'Yisrael amo, uv'invi'eh ha'emet v'tzedek.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who chose good prophets and was pleased with their words which they spoke in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chose the Torah, Moses his servant, Israel his people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. Now there was a certain man from Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and had no children. And the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, Indeed now you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and bear a son. Now therefore please be careful not to drink wine or similar drink, and not to eat anything unclean. For behold, you shall conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hands of the Philistines. So the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came to me, and his countenance was like the countenance of the angel of God, very awesome. But I did not ask him where he was from, and he did not tell me his name. And he said to me, Behold, you shall conceive and bear a son. Now drink no wine or similar drink, nor eat anything unclean, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah prayed to the Lord and said, O my Lord, please let the man of God whom you sent come to us again and teach us what we shall do for the child who will be born. And God listened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came to the woman again as she was sitting in the field, but Manoah, her husband, was not with her. Then the woman ran in haste and told her husband and said to him, Look, the man who came to me the other day has just now appeared to me. So Manoah arose and followed his wife. When he came to the man, he said to him, Are you the man who spoke to this woman? And he said, I am. Manoah said, Now let your words come to pass. What will be the boy's rule of life and his work? So the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Of all that I said to the woman, let her be careful. She may not eat anything that comes from the vine, nor may she drink wine or similar drink, nor eat anything unclean. All that I command her, let her observe. Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, Please let us detain you, and we will prepare a young goat for you. And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Though you detain me, I will not eat your food. But if you offer a burnt offering, you must offer it to the Lord. For Manoah did not know he was the angel of the Lord. Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, What is your name? That when your words come to pass, we may honor you. And the angel of the Lord said to him, Why do you ask my name, seeing it is wonderful? So Manoah took the young goat with the grain offering and offered it upon the rock to the Lord. And he did a wondrous thing while Manoah and his wife looked on. It happened as the flame went up toward heaven from the altar, the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. When Manoah and his wife saw this, they fell on their faces to the ground. When the angel of the Lord appeared no more to Manoah and his wife, then Manoah knew that he was the angel of the Lord. And Manoah said to his wife, "We shall surely die because we have seen God." But his wife said to him, "If the Lord had desired to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and a grain offering from our hands, nor would he have shown us all these things, nor would he have told us such things as these at this time." So the woman bore a son and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to move upon him at Mahina Dan, between Zorah and Eshtaol.
In the reading of the Apostolic Scriptures, Ya'amod, Rachel, McGrath, Batsera, Emenu, Likro, Habrit Harashah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et divrei HaMashiach Yeshua ve'et divrei shelachayiv. Baruch atah Adonai noten et divrei HaMashiach Yeshua.
Come now, you rich. I'm sorry. Oh, here? Yes. Sorry. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, King of the universe, who gave to us the words of Messiah Yeshua and the words of his apostles. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the words of Messiah Yeshua. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver are corroded, and their corrosion will be a witness against you, and will eat your flesh like fire. You have heaped up treasures in the last days. Indeed, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you have kept back by fraud, cry out, and the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. You have lived on the earth in pleasure and luxury. You have fattened your hearts as in the day of slaughter. You have condemned, you have murdered the just. He does not resist you. Therefore be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Do not grumble against one another, brethren, lest you be condemned. Behold, a judge is standing at the door. My brethren, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord as an example of suffering and patience. Indeed, we count them blessed who endure. You have heard of the perseverance of Job, and seen the end intended by the Lord, that the Lord is very compassionate and merciful. But above all, my brethren, do not swear, either by heaven or by earth, with any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no, no, lest you fall into temptation. Is anyone among you suffering? Let him pray. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing psalms. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith will save the sick, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. Confess your trespass one to another, and pray for one another, that you may be healed. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Elijah was a man with a nature like ours, and he prayed earnestly that it would not rain, and it did not rain on the land for 3 years and 6 months. And he prayed again, and the heavens gave rain, and the earth produced its fruit. Brethren, if anyone among you wanders from the truth, and someone turns him back, let him know that he who turns a sinner from the error of his way will save a soul from death and cover a multitude of sins.
Don always tells me, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. I need 10 of them this morning. Okay, we start the book of Bamidbar, that is Numbers, and it is a simple way. We say this, I think, every year, but this is a simple way to remember the book of Numbers. Chapters 1 to 10, before the wanderings. Chapters 11 to 19, during the wandering. And chapters 20 to 36, after the wandering in the wilderness. Numbers, for the most part, covers the first and last years of the 40 years in the wilderness. 38 years are passed over in almost complete silence. So we encounter this book of selective historical events in a realistic way. That is, there is great life application here. Great applications to your lives. Our partial reading for this week, the Lord orders the people to organize into a military camp last week and this week. Moses conducts a census of all of the men of the age of 20 and above. The total comes to 603,500. Does that make sense? Okay. The Levites are not counted. And each tribe was assigned a position around the tabernacle. The Levites are assigned to serve the priesthood. The priests are given the duties associated with the tabernacle. Another census is taken, this time of the Levite males. There were 22,000 of age from the Levites. The Levites became the redemption for all of the firstborn male of Israel. A second census, the Levites was conducted, including only those between the ages of 30 and 50. This became the pattern of those who served in the tabernacle. It's a general pattern. Ages 1 to 29, you're in training for what you would do in the tabernacle. Ages 30 to 50, you were serving in the tabernacle. At age 51, you would retire. I've never run across retirement yet. So at age 51 and older, you were teaching the younger ones how to minister within the tabernacle. This is a general rule of thumb, so to speak. Well, the theme of Bamidbar is also very simple. The theme is this: our journey through the wilderness. Because that's where it is, and that's what it encompasses, our journey through the wilderness. Or you could say, our pilgrim life. So, because we're like pilgrims in this way. And so we get this from the fact that the word journey occurs 75 times in this book. Also, the word wilderness occurs 50 times in this book. Just putting together the most commonly used words, our journey in the wilderness, a pilgrim life. It represents life as a great wilderness. It's a mindset. It's not the goal of our life. It's a wilderness. Whereas Genesis is the book of foundational truths, Exodus is the book of our redemption, Leviticus is the book of our holiness, and Numbers is the book of our maturity in the desert, or our maturing in the desert. Holiness is the outworking of redemption. God gives us this standard of holiness and uses the pilgrim life to work holiness into us. Okay? Let me say that again. God gives us the standard of holiness and uses our life in the wilderness, our pilgrim life, to work this holiness into us. This book was given to the Israelites, but its message is for everyone. These are God's instructions to guide us as we successfully press through this life. In a real sense, this is life. Israel faced tests and challenges as they progressed through this land of nothing. And we have to understand our life today in this land of nothing. So, there are hardships. Hardships we've never imagined when we first began our journey. And there are temptations. And the temptations seem to get stronger as we work ourselves through this, on this journey. There are times of discouragement. There are times of discontentment. There are times of war. And there are times of successes, and there are sometimes failures. It's okay. We pick it up, we keep working, we keep moving. God gives us the grace, you see, for us to keep moving through the hardships, through the crises in this life. But we have to put everything in its place. Our goal is God. There's a song. There's a hymn. There's a hymn written by Simpson, and he's noted for his hymns. A great pastor, but you can't sing them. They're hard to sing. Their songs are hard to sing. Our goal is God, and we can't lift the things of this world up to that status. We're moving through this world. We're experiencing joy. We're experiencing a wonderful relationship with God. And things happen. And they tend to take us down, you know. They tend to pull us down a little bit. And that's God's grace to lift us back up, to work in us both the will and the do of His good pleasure. Our job is to work out our salvation, as we've mentioned so many times. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. 4 explanations. God at work is in you both the will and the do of His good pleasure. So our constant work or ministry, a constant job, so to speak, is to work out where He's working in to us while we work our way through this desert. Now, Numbers chapter 4 is all about ancient ministry. What is so striking about these chapters is what we mentioned last week, and I laid emphasis upon it, is the order in the ministry. And we emphasized again last week, whether a priest carried the tabernacle or worked within the tabernacle, there was order in ministry. Order characterized everything that had to do with the tabernacle. Order and discipline, two sides of the same coin. One of the evidence of the Spirit in control of your life is redeeming the time. Redeeming the time. And it takes order and discipline to redeem the time. You see, God has given you, God has blessed you with life. And life is characterized by time. He has given you time. And we need to redeem the time. We need to be active in time. This time, every day God gives you, you wake up in the morning saying, "Blessed be the Lord our God, King of the universe, who woke me up this morning. Thank you, Lord." Some of us wake up faster than others of us. Some of us sleep through the night, wake up and wondering, have I ever slept? Yes, me too. And it takes a little while to get moving. Well, we can apply this principle of order to our spiritual lives and ministry as well. Prayer, fasting, solitude. Man, let me tell you how we need quiet. How we need quiet. And that's solitude. Meditation. And I'm not telling, how others do it. I'm just saying, biblically, we meditate on God, we meditate on His Word, and study our disciplines that are necessary for service, for living. It really is. To live life successfully, we need these spiritual disciplines at work in our lives. Take care of yourself. And by that I mean take the rest you need, take the exercise you need, take the solitude you need, take the time to meditate that you need. Take the time to study that you need. These disciplines are spiritual, and they lay a foundation for all that you do. It's how you live your life flowing out of these spiritual disciplines. The spiritual lays the foundation for the physical. Prayer is the one discipline that we need today. Prayer. Never have time to pray. We have to make time. Every individual has to make time to pray. When we come up short here, we come up short in all the other areas. It was John Wesley who said, no, it was Martin Luther. It was one of those guys back there. He says, I have so much work to do today, I have to spend an extra hour in prayer. You see, It doesn't matter what your schedule is. It doesn't matter how busy you are. What matters is you take time for God. And that tends to make life easier for you. It tends to make you more available. Anyway, we each have to step up. And we each have to step higher in our spiritual growth. And believe me, life will knock you down. From time to time, life will knock you down, but we need to step up. And every time we step up from being knocked down, we have to step up higher. It's a progressive type of comeback. Not only do you need to step up for yourselves, but you need to step up for the sake of your family. Your family needs your prayers. And for the sake of your community. Believe me, our community needs prayer. Individuals need prayer. And that's the first job of ministry, pastoral ministry. But don't stop with yourself in your prayer life. You have to at least encompass your family. And you really need to encompass the community in your prayers. You can go further than that. Think about your friends. Think about your nation. Think about Israel. But when you stop with yourself, you are handicapped when it comes to your prayer life. As I can keep going. I got to get back. I got to take your time. I'm afraid I am. Besides personal disciplines, there are community disciplines. That is, your ministry, your part in the body of Messiah. Submission to one another, corporate worship, celebration of the festivals, including the monthly festival, keeping days holy unto the Lord, especially Shabbat. And then there is the teaching ministry, oneg, and the fellowship with one another. The community aspect of the body grows weaker when there is a lack of participation by the body and a lack of prayer from the body. And so we have to ask each other the question, what part are you playing in the body of Messiah? How are you ministering in the body of Messiah? Are you encouraging the body of Messiah? And so these are things that really God uses you in the life of someone else, guarantee it. And as God uses you in the life of someone else, it's interesting how you are healed. And it's interesting how you are encouraged. So I just encourage you in these, what we call spiritual disciplines. That's why the Methodists were called Methodists. John and Charles Wesley had a method, and that method was their disciplines. Wesley fasted every Monday and Wednesday, he got up at 4 into his 86th year of life. Got up at 4, preached at 5 to the miners going to work. And he probably spent more time on the horse, unfortunately, than he did in his family. But there was a method. It was so noticeable, they called them Methodists. They were very disciplined people. Okay. When we speak about order, we're talking about managing our time. What does God want me to do right now? That is the whole issue relative to time. And we can't begin to rationalize. Feelings are like the old caboose at the end of the old types of train. Feelings follow actions. Actions are like the dynamic that powers the entire train. Is there order in your life? Or do you just let life happen? Are our lives being molded by the circumstances of our lives, or are we allowing God's Spirit to mold us by consistent personal and community disciplines? So, these are just questions that demand an answer from all of us. What's the next step in your life, your individual life? What's the next step? And we need to answer these. One of the blessings in our lives is a blessing that is pronounced over our lives each Shabbat. It's found in Numbers chapter 6, of course. And Adonai spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron, to his sons, saying, In this way you shall bless the children of Israel, say unto them, Adonai bless you and keep you. Adonai cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Adonai lift up his face upon you and give you his shalom. So they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I myself will bless them. God desires to bless his people. This past week we saw a little celebrated event in Yeshua's life on this earth, and that was the whole counting of the Omer, and after the 40th day, his ascension. Luke 24 talks about this. Then he opened up their mind to understand the Scriptures and said to them, So it is written, so the Messiah must suffer and rise again from the dead, and repentance and remission of sins must be preached in this name to all nations, beginning from Jerusalem. You're witnesses of these things. You are witnesses, and behold, I send forth the promise of my Father on you. Sit in the city of Jerusalem until you are clothed with power from on high. He led them out as far as Bethany, lifted up his hands, and he what? He blessed them. And it happened as he blessed them. He withdrew from them, carried up into the heavenly places. And worshiping him, they returned to Jerusalem with great joy, continually in the temple praising and blessing God. Amen. Well, Yeshua left the earth blessing his people, blessing his disciples. He is now at the right hand of the Father in his resurrected body, praying for and blessing his people. The threefold use of the sacred name is important. in that this blessing is written, in a sense, in the strongest way. The repetition in itself stresses the importance. But I'd like to, a description, I'd like to illustrate this strongest way. Jeremiah 7. Jeremiah 7, the word that came to Jeremiah from Adonai saying, stand in the gate of the house of Adonai and call out there this word and say, hear the word of Adonai, all Judah, who enter in at these gates to worship Adonai. So says Adonai of hosts, the God of Israel. Amend your ways and your doings, and I will let you dwell in this place. Do not trust yourself to lying words saying, the temple of Adonai is here. The temple of Adonai is here. This is the temple of Adonai. Their thinking was, so nothing will happen to us. We have the temple of Adonai. And God is saying 3 times, hello. Doesn't matter whether you have the temple or Adonai or not. Now, when the Lord wants to bless you, He wants to bless you in the strongest possible way. This is no common prayer of blessing. The repetition shows the heart of God. And this was one of the responsibilities of the priesthood. As it says, the priests, the sons of Levi, should come near, for Adonai your God has chosen them to minister them, and to bless in the name of Adonai. They were to minister to the Lord, bless in His name, and judge controversies. It's interesting to notice that the Aaronic blessing is addressed to you singularly. Perhaps He intends to bless His people because they are one people, but most certainly He wants to bless each and every person in the community on an individual basis. Each one of us needs to prepare him or herself to receive the blessing. Someone said, if we take the law to ourselves, we may take the blessing to ourselves, as if our names were inserted in the blessing. Here it is. Threefold blessing. Adonai bless you and keep you. The first blessing is the blessing and protection of God. We need it. The word for keep is shamar, means to hedge about, to guard. We need the general blessing which causes us to be full of joy and thanksgiving. But we also need His keeping power to be our security. Who is your security? Him. Who is your significance? Him. Each believer is kept by the power of God, for we cannot keep ourselves. We need His blessing, and we need His keeping power. Verse 25, Adonai calls His face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The second blessing is for the favor of God. Literally, it is, may He cause His face to shine to you. It is like there is motion toward you. Can you picture that? When His face shines to you. Life and joy flow to you. Verse 26, Adonai lift up his face to you and give you shalom. The third blessing is for his face to be lifted up toward you and his peace flow to you. For to those who have made peace with God, that's our salvation, comes the overwhelming sense of his shalom. His peace is the sum of all that is good and with which he desires to bless you. This is unspeakable wealth, a blessing flowing to you from the eternal Creator. I want to choose, I'm closing, I really am. Hang in there just for a few more minutes, okay? I want to close with two verses that come at the beginning of chapter 5. This is critical in our walk with God. Numbers 5, verse 6 and 7 speak to the sons of Israel. When a man or woman shall commit any sin that men commit, to commit a trespass against Adonai, and that person is guilty, then they shall confess their sins which they have done, and he shall make restitution for his guilt in full, add to it 1/5 of it, and give it to him against whom he has sinned. Notice that it involves Adonai, a sin against men or women is a sin against Adonai. The confession of sin, making restitution, is so important in our lives. I cannot overemphasize or overstate this life principle. David cries out in Psalm 32, I confessed my sin to you and my iniquity I have not hid. How can you hide anything from God? Anyway. So you may as well come clean. I said I will confess my transgression to Adonai, and you forgave the iniquity of my sin. Selah. Confessing our sins to God is foundational to our relationship with God. In fact, Psalm 32 and Psalm 51 are key psalms, key prayers, when it comes to confessing our sins. So important. Someone offends you, someone hurts you, someone disappoints you, what's your first response? Father, I forgive them. In your heart, you mean it. Father, I forgive them. Please, Father, forgive me. There is a reciprocal, even in the Lord's Prayer. You forgive those, you'll be forgiven. So this is so very important. James, well, we call him James, but you know who he is. Jacob. Confess faults to one another. Pray for one another in order that what? You might be healed. There is a reciprocal issue here. Don't let somebody destroy or hurt your life. They'll hurt you, but don't let them win. Don't let them get the victory. You confess it, you forgive them, whether they accept your forgiveness or not. Confess faults to one another and pray for one another in order that you may be healed. The effectual, and then it gives an example here, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much, such as Elijah was a man of like passions as you and I. You get angry, he got angry. You get depressed, he got depressed. He was a man of like passions as any other man. Elijah was a man of like passion as we are, and he prayed earnestly it may not rain, and it didn't rain on the earth for the time of 3 years and 6 months, and he prayed again. The heavens gave rain, the earth caused its fruit to sprout. You talking about commanding the weather? I mean, his prayer prevailed. Now, that's an example. That's an example here of this basic concept. Confess your faults one to another. Pray for one another that you may be healed. The effectual and fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much, just like Elijah. We also have 1 John. 1 Yochanan, chapter 1, verse 9 and 10. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar. Because his word is not in us. And so there's a little word that begins this whole sentence. What is it? If. I can't figure that out. But I do know the Lord's Prayer says the same thing. If we confess our sins, he's faithful and just to forgive us our sins. Cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And nobody can say we haven't sinned or we don't sin. So, we need to confess. The Greek word for confess is to acknowledge. Or by implication of assent, agree fully. And that's what confession is. I'm agreeing fully with God who says, don't do that, I did it, I confess it. I agree with God, I acknowledge it 100%, I did it. Lord, would you please forgive me? And so when we ask for forgiveness for one another, we ask this way. I'm trying to think of a name that's not here. Scott? I don't think Scott. We don't have a Scott, do we? Not today. Oh, not today. Scott, would you please forgive me for being careless with my words and I hurt you? Would you please forgive me? And you wait for their answer. Because I guarantee you there's a battle going on. He doesn't want to forgive you. But when he forgives you, God works. God works powerfully. So you say, John, I hurt you in this way. Would you please forgive me? Would you please forgive me? Would you please forgive me? And you wait, because it's going to be healing for them. It's going to be healing for them, as well as healing for you.